Hi, this is Nick Allen. I'm going to give you some brief tips on how to adjust images in Adobe Lightroom and export them for further adjustments into Photoshop. Here we are at our library module. We've just imported the file that we want to work on. It's a raw file and hasn't been adjusted yet. So we're going to go into the Develop module. And here in the Develop module, you'll see your histogram up here, which gives you information on where your highlights and your shadows are in your image. And this is where you're going to make your basic adjustments to exposure, contrast, clarity, vibrance. So this comes in as a raw file, and it's a very neutral kind of tone. And what I remember was a very contrasty and vivid image. So we're going to try to get that back to what I remember when I shot it. One of the presets over here that's very useful is called Auto Tone. And that just made a very basic adjustment to it, increased the exposure a little bit, gave it a little bit more contrast, but still not quite there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump the exposure just a little bit more to get the highlights up. But what I really want to do is get my blacks further down, where it will have more contrast and show more clarity. Clarity is an edge contrast filter, so it'll help increase your contrast in the detail areas of your image. So I've bumped that up a little bit, and I remember the watercolor being stronger, more vivid. So I'm going to add some vibrance to it. These warm highlights are getting nicer. Also, I'm also going to bump the saturation up just a little bit. So you can see already in just this little amount of time, the image has gone from a plain one to a very vivid one. Another good step for this phase would be to use your crop tool. So I think I can crop in a little bit and kind of focus. This is kind of the main focus of my image. So I'll crop that. That adds a little bit of emphasis to that. Another good thing to do at this stage would be to sharpen. And there's two basic presets for sharpening. Faces or scenic, and this would fall into the scenic category, of course. You can zoom into 100% to see what that's giving you as far as sharpness. And down here you can dial it in even more in the detail area. You can bump that up a little bit more if you want. You just have to be careful that your image isn't separating and getting too grainy. In this case, at ISO 160, it's not getting grainy at all. But if it were, you could introduce some noise reduction, but in this case we're not going to need it. So once you've got your basic exposure and clarity and vibrance settings, you're ready to export for Photoshop. So this is where you would send it to your hard drive, and then you would reopen this image. Unique names. You would open this image in Photoshop for further processing. Thank you for watching.